Jarrett Hurd loses his unified super welterweight championship to Julian J. Rock Williams. Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Bremstar Says So. So, sorry for the late sort of analysis. I thought I actually made a video on this one, and looks like I didn't. Sorry, guys. So, yeah, J-Rock takes the Unified Championships away from Jarrett Hurd. Now, this was a fight that I expected Jarrett Hurd to come through comfortably, and I actually thought he might even win via knockout, because Julian J-Rock Williams did lose via knockout to Jermell Charlo. But that just wasn't the case. I don't know what was going on with Jarrett Hurd, if he was dehydrated or if he just wasn't up for it, but it just wasn't a good outing for him. That fight, from the first bell, I can't believe that I stayed up to watch that fight. But you know, it was for the unified WBA IBF championships. And the fight didn't start till about 4 o'clock in the morning UK time. Julian Williams, he sort of came out the block and he was just doing a lot more. He was throwing more jabs, he was throwing more power punches, and he was just dominating from the first round. Jarrett Hurd just couldn't get into the fight. No matter what he did, he went for a few power punches, but they were fairly telegraphed, and J-Rock was managing to sort of get out of the way fairly easily. I don't really understand what was happening. It must have just been a bad day at the office for Jarrett Hurd, because he has looked literally unstoppable at sort of junior middleweight. And maybe it's just the fact that maybe the weight just got to him as well. Jarrett Hurd is supposedly 6'1", and he's sort of squeezing himself down to 154 pounds time and time again, and maybe it's just taking its toll. A man of his size should not be fighting at that weight level, and some people have accused him of being a weight cheat or a weight bully, if you want to call it that, and maybe that's where he sort of went wrong. You know, the last sort of 2 and a bit years has just been astronomical for Jarrett Hurd. Obviously, he beat Tony Harrison for the vacant IBF title, and then he sort of unified with Erislandy Lara, picking up the WBA and the IBO, and then he went on to make a sort of, he made a defense last December against Jason Wellborn. But, you know, in May, Julian Williams was just a better man. He was throwing the right combinations, and you know, I remember watching this fight live on ITV4 over here, and I just remember saying that Jarrett Hurd is losing. I don't think Jarrett Hurd really got into the fight until about the 9th round, and by then it was too late. When the referee blew the final bell, both fighters put their hands up in the sky, but Jarrett Hurd knew it was curtains. He knew there was no chance he was keeping that belt. That would have been the ultimate robbery, and by all means it would have, but luckily the judges scored it in the right direction. I'm pretty sure Jarrett Hurd must have some sort of rematch clause, and I wouldn't be surprised if Al Heyman is sort of trying to get that put together, probably maybe for about August, September time, to try and get him another shot at those titles. But this is the reason why the best need to fight the best, and this goes up to the likes of Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder as well. What happened was Jermell Charlo was supposed to be fighting Jarrett Hurd for the light heavyweights in a unification fight, and what happened was, we all know Jermell Charlo lost his belt, and now Jarrett Swift Hurd has lost his title as well. You've got two guys that were supposed to be fighting for either 2 or 3 belts, and now both of them find themselves beltless. It's crazy. It's actually crazy, but you know, these things do happen. Anyway, what can I say? Like, Jarrett Hurd has lost his title. He looked very sloppy throughout the entire fight, and now all he needs to do is focus on getting a rematch and trying to get that title back, or maybe going up. The only issue is that he's a PBC fighter fighting on Fox and Showtime. It's probably not the best move to go up to the middleweight division. We've all seen what's been happening with Jermell Charlo. He can't get a fight for love or money. right now, DAZN with Matchroom and Oscar De La Hoya's Golden Boy, they hold all the cards at middleweight, and that's probably the reason why Jarrett Hurd is going to stay down there as long as possible. We all know Jermell Charlo's been the WBC mandatory for about 18 months, and he still can't get that fight. So if I was Jarrett Hurd, I'd keep going at his weight division, because being a PBC fighter trying to get a fight with any of the champions at middleweight, it's not happening. So, I don't know. What were you guys' thoughts? Leave me a comment, hit like, hit subscribe. That's the end of the show, because Remstar says so.